Hello, and welcome back. It is time to up our automation game in Excel. And oh yes, we are going to be using AI for it. In this tutorial, we're going to be using ChatGPT to automate importing sales. I'm going to show you how to adjust it for your data. It's going to make your life so much easier. So let me show you the end result that we're going to be making. We'll input a text prompt and have a macro generated that will do this. Allow us to click a button, select only a TXT or CSV file, have it imported, formatted, sliced and diced how we want it to, and a few key points pulled out of it. Here is all of the code that was generated, but I did not have to write any of that. Of course, it helps to learn VBA so that you can adjust this very easily and quickly, such as changing the font size if you don't want it to be 16. Things like that are much easier if you already know VBA. But here, let's just use simple text prompts to get what we want out of Excel automation. I'm going to clear everything out and start from scratch. And of course, this tutorial and our full Excel courses are all on teachexcel.com. I'll put links to those below this video. The first thing that you want to do is to go to ChatGPT, and then you want to get the premium version so that we can use 4.0. This is going to make your life so much easier and is one of the few monthly services that is actually worth it in my opinion. It's really just amazing what this guy can do. And with the 4.0 model, the first thing that we're going to do is to find an example CSV file. And for this example, we use our 24,000 row sales example with a bunch of tab delimited columns. So this is the actual file that we are going to be importing. Yours, however, does not have to look like this. The prompts that we give ChatGPT are going to allow for a dynamic setup. However, I will explain some caveats that'll make it easier to import data when we write the prompt in just a moment. But first, let me show you how easy it is once you have the prompt. So this is our data. We are going to upload this to ChatGPT. Now, you don't exactly have to do this, but it will make your life easier. The more information that you give ChatGPT, the better it's going to be at figuring out how to give you what you need. And here is our prompt. It's a lot of text, but don't worry, it's not that difficult, and I will cover it momentarily. Let me just show you how we can copy it, go back here, paste it, and get a nice result. And we have a really big, long answer. So let's go to the VBA section and hit copy code, then go back to Excel. Hit Alt F11 to go to the VBA window, then Insert, Module, and we're going to go ahead and remove Option Explicit because our code has that in it. Paste everything in. Now let's click in here and run the code. Select our file, go back to Excel, expand the columns, and there we go. Now you may have already noticed a difference from how this executed versus how the code at the beginning of the tutorial executed. That brings up an interesting thing with AI and with ChatGPT, which is that every time you run a prompt, there will be slight variations in the result. And that's why we want to be as explicit as possible. So if you wanted these columns to be automatically resized after the import, and you always wanted it that way, you might want to put it at the end of the prompt. But I'll get to that in just a moment. So we have the result that we want. And now we can go ahead and create a button. Very easy. Insert, Illustrations, Shapes, Rounded Rectangle, draw it out, type it in, import data, home, center, center, bold. We'll select the data, bold, then there you go. Now we right click, assign macro, select the macro, OK. There we go. And now it's time to look at our prompt. Now let's go over this prompt step by step, and I think it will help you understand how to adjust it for your situation. However, I am going to include a lot more information and potentially a full course on this on teachexcel.com. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. So the very first thing that I do in my prompt is give it some basic instructions. Hey, I want to import a file using VBA for Excel. My Excel version is 365. Option explicit will be used. That's a very important one. I did encounter some errors with the code that was generated when I did not include this line, but my module automatically had option explicit at the top. So when you are crafting your prompts, you are going to have to tweak them. That's why knowing VBA is actually going to help you tremendously. This is more of a tool for someone who knows what they're doing than it is for someone who actually doesn't know anything about VBA. So though this prompt will do what I just showed you, the moment that you need to update it slightly in the code itself, life is going to be very difficult if you don't understand what you're looking at. So that's why I still highly recommend you check out my full Excel VBA course on teachexcel.com. I'll put a link to it below this video. But now let's continue on. So we have told the AI what we're doing basically. The next thing is the file to import is attached to this message. That's probably not required, but I put that in there because I did upload the CSV file. I said that it is sales data for a store. That helps give it some more context. And remember, everything here is basically context and instructions for Mr. ChatGPT. Now the next thing, let's tell what we want to do. I want to select the file to import from my computer. That's how we got the pop-up window initially. I only want to be able to select TXT or CSV files. That's how we got the limit so that we would only see those two file types in our pop-up window. The next thing, import it on a new worksheet. Then give that new worksheet a specific name. Now I'm going to tell it that we have multiple columns and I want it to figure out what delimiter to use to split those up. If all of your data is always the same, in this section it's a good idea just to say, hey, I have 6 columns. They are separated using a comma. That would be better than telling ChatGPT to figure it out on its own, because it can and will make mistakes. But in this case, I made it a bit more dynamic. So analyze the attached file to determine if it contains multiple columns. If it does, then determine what delimiter is used for that. Then I just very specifically say, if it has multiple columns, split them up. Depending on your dataset, you may need to be even more explicit than that. Next up, I tell it where to start importing the data, row 7. You could also give it a column here, say column A, B, C, D, whatever you need to do. Then, this is a very interesting one, after the data is imported, remove the connection for the imported data. If you don't do that, you won't be able to turn it into a table later. That has to do with how the data is imported. Then we very explicitly say, after that connection has been removed, figure out how big the dataset is, full stop, period. Turn the full set of imported data into a table. If you don't separate your commands like this, it will mix and match the code in ways that won't always work. Then what we do for pretty much the rest of the prompt is just add some hard-coded data. In A1, I want you to give it a title like this, format it as a title, and it's going to do what it thinks the title should look like, so you can be more explicit if you'd like. Then A3, input this text. Create a formula from the total column. Total is the title of that column that has the total amount of the sale in it. Then some formatting options right here for A3 and B3. And then what I do is just repeat this section for the additional 2 cells right here. Total sales, highest sale, lowest sale. These guys right here. So A4, then A5. Then at the very end, I explicitly say, generate VB code that will do this. That is the full prompt. Make it as explicit as you need to make it. Otherwise, it's going to guess what it thinks you want, and it doesn't always get it correct. This is also where you could put a line about the column sizing. So if you want these columns to resize based on the data in them, you could put that here. If you want only columns A, B, and C to resize, you could put that here. Specify what you want, and it will do it. But when I run this code, sometimes it auto-fits the columns, sometimes it doesn't. Same prompt, slightly different results. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can see all of my future tutorials. And don't forget to check out teachexcel.com for our full Excel courses. And as I mentioned before, if you would like me to make a full course on ChatGPT and automating Excel, please let me know in the comments or shoot me a message via teachexcel.com. If there's enough demand, I'll go ahead and make a full course on that. Because this, what you see here, is just the tip of the iceberg. And as you may have noticed, it's more about a way of thinking than it is knowing exactly what to say in the prompts. But that's all for this video. I hope you have a great week. Cheers from Teach Excel.